Welcome to another episode from HenRefurb. This episode I'm going to be dressing up like something out of a horror film, and then I'm going to scare myself using a very powerful sandblaster. Unfortunately, Doris, you're going to have to leave because it's not safe. Stay tuned. So after last episode, with all the grinding of all the rust and whatnot, I've decided I'd rather have a look at sandblasting, and thanks to a fellow Triumph GT6 owner, I've managed to borrow one, which is really good. But obviously before I can have a go at using it, I really need the chassis spotless. It's got to be completely grease and oil free. So one last time I'm going to wheel it round and degrease and power wash the whole thing. That chassis is so much easier to push now it's not got anything on it anymore. I think that'll do. Going to give it a quick blow dry now with some compressed air, just to help the drying process along a little bit. I think that'll do for tonight. I'm just going to leave this out here for now to dry off a little bit further. It's like 30 degrees outside tonight, so it'll dry really fast. And then carry on another night. Right, well I mentioned I was going to look at sandblasting, and I've gone as far as plugging it into my air system, and boy is it scary. I'll give you a quick rundown. So that's my old 80s air compressor, and that's the sandblaster. Basically the air goes in there. That's a dryer that takes the moisture out of the airline, and then there's just all sorts of taps for adjusting the air in different directions. It's a pressurized sand tank, so you can change the pressure that the sand's pushed in at, and you can change the pressure that it's blasted out the gun. Here's the gun. You just pull that trigger. Oh look, there's a puff of sand. You pull that trigger and literally sand goes everywhere like crazy. And here's the sand, just like crushed glass or something like that, I think. I understand you've got to be very careful with that stuff. So I think there's a thing called silicon poisoning where you get it in your lungs and it all blocks up and whatnot. So I've got to wear protective goggles, earplugs, a full gas mask. I'm going to use a welding helmet as a face mask just to keep it off my face. And I'm going to wear a big white all-in-one suit thing to keep it all off my skin and stuff. And I've been wondering about how the hell I do this, because I've got to contain the sand and not get it everywhere. So I was thinking about using the tent. Put the chassis, which is over there, on this huge tarpaulin inside that tent. So I'm thinking I might try and do that inside the barn so that I can leave it set up, because presumably this is going to take me a few evenings worth of work. I won't be able to do it all tonight. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. I'm now ready to unveil the master plan. So we've moved the Dodge body into the workshop here, out the way, so we've got the whole barn free. Put the tent in the middle of the barn and lined the floor with the tarpaulin. And now I'm going to push the chassis into the tent. Okay, so I'm all suited and booted, ready to go. Gas mask, face mask, full body clothes. I've got wellies on the bottom to seal my feet so I don't get them full of sand. I have absolutely no idea how well this is going to work, or whether it's going to, I don't know, whether it's going to go well or badly or what, but we're going to find out together. So I'm going to try and get the camera in some sort of an angle that can see what's going on in a way that the camera won't get destroyed, hopefully, but yeah, here goes nothing. So, it does the job incredibly well. It gets through sand incredibly fast, so I'm going to have to buy some more bags of sand and start sweeping it up off the floor and sieving it back into the machine so I can just keep recycling it, which is why I'm using the tent, because it means that I can recycle the sand without it blowing away in the wind and whatnot. It's hot. It's hard work. Breathing is fine in there with the gas mask on, so I think this should work. It's not going to be quick though, but it is going to be very effective. I was hoping to be able to continue with the sandblasting of the chassis on this video, but unfortunately I've not managed to get any more sand in time. I was let down on that one because I was expecting it last week, but instead I'm going to let you have a look at some of the other projects I've been working on. For the last 3 or 4 weeks I've been working on the Dodge dashboard, actually restoring it and making it look nice again and function properly, specifically the speedo, which didn't work at all, now works. And the other project I've been looking at is the fuel gauge on the fuel tank. The dashboard project is going to come out as a series of its own videos very, very soon, but I'll let you have a sneak preview as to what it looks like. The fuel gauge is also going to come out in a similar way, but it won't be for a while yet because I've got some parts holding me up. So here's the dashboard. Every single piece has been dismantled to component level and sandblasted, repainted and restored. In here has all been repainted. These white parts were rusty and horrible, both of these, they've been sandblasted and repainted. All the edge of the speedo has been filed down and polished because it was completely pitted and looked horrible. I made these pull knobs because the ones on the Dodge were missing. That's all been polished up. It's all been polished so it looks nice. And I've also tidied up the back as well, so everything is clean and painted so it won't rust. So all of these surfaces were just bare metal before and they were badly surface rusted, and so I've sandblasted them all, cleaned them, painted them, and hopefully they'll last a long time now. And as I say, I'll be doing a series of videos on the restoration project, possibly next week. And here is the fuel gauge. So this is the float arm that drives a small gear, and on the end of that turning shaft is where the needle goes. That's the gauge glass, that's the cap. It's in a bit of a state, but I've cleaned it, sandblasted it, completely derusted it and lacquered it so it won't ever get any worse. That is the cork float. I will probably replace that at some point. There's some bits and bobs in there, fallen apart gaskets, and then this is the hold up, the gauge face. You can just about make out half full there, but there's really not much left of that, so I've been in contact with some fellow Dodge owners in America who have kindly sent me some photos and information of what these gauges are supposed to look like, and using that information I've made a CAD model of a new face, which I will show you in a sec. The intention is to have this made out of sheet aluminium and either have it laser etched and then filled with paint, or I will use an acid etching process. I've got to decide which one's the best way forward yet, so once I do that, and once that's done, you'll get to see this as a little mini project as well. Well, that pretty much wraps us up for this episode. I'm sorry we didn't get any of the sandblasting finished, but as soon as I get the sand turn up, I will get that done and release another video. Once I've done the sandblasting, some of the Dodge members have asked if I would go around the chassis and point out all of the different numbers that appear in certain places, just so they can cross-reference parts and see how similar it is to their chassis and whatnot. Keep an eye out for the dashboard project, that'll be coming out very soon. Otherwise, if you've got any questions or suggestions, pop them in the comments section below, and I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.